Okay, so in this problem, we're told to simplify the radical square root 252. And the method that we most often use for simplifying square roots or cube roots or any other kind of radical is to build factor trees. And you can see I've got one started here. So what I'm going to do, this is the way I like to approach factor trees. You don't have to do it this way. But I'm going to notice that 252 is an even number, which means it's divisible by 2. Now, what goes in the other box? Well, to figure that out, you have to say 252 divided by 2, and then we have to figure out what that equals. Well, if you have a calculator, that'll be handy. This one is 126. Okay, so I put that number in this box right here. And then we repeat. We just do the same process over again. So I notice that this is an even number, which means when I build its factor tree out here, one of the numbers is going to be 2. And the other number, I figure out this way. I say, okay, 126 divided by 2 equals what? Well, if you have a calculator handy, again, this can be pretty quick. If not, you'll get some practice at division. 63 is my next number. And you keep on going through this over and over and over again until you run out of even numbers if you're doing it the way I like to do it, because it's very easy to divide things by 2. Once you run out of even numbers like 2, try 3, and then try 5, and then try 7. And keep on trying these numbers that are called primes, which can't be broken down anymore. Now that's one way to do it. So you might think the next step that I would normally do, and this is what I would do, I would say, okay, I know 63 doesn't divide by 2, but does it divide by 3? And I would keep on going. Now you don't have to do it that way. You could just pick a number that 63 divides by and play guess and check with your calculator. So what would I pick? I would pick 3. But if we want to just be contrarian and pick 9, we could say, fine, 63 divided by 9. Does that give me something? Now, if it gives you a decimal, you're out of luck and you picked a bad number. But this one works out. 63 divided by 9 is 7. Okay, now 7's a prime, so I know that's the end of that branch. But 9 factors out nicely, and that's going to give me 3 and 3. So now I'm at the end of the road. And this factor tree is done because I only have primes left. But the question is, what do we do with all these numbers? Well, you take a look at everything that's at the end of a branch. Okay, so for example, these pair of 2s and these pair of 3s and this little 7 sitting over here. Those are the ends of my branch. And that's going to tell me how to simplify the radical. Well, watch what happens. I take my square root 252 and I say, okay, that's the square root of this 2 times 2 and the 3 times 3 and the 7. Well, what pulls out? I have a pair of 2s. I also have a pair of 3s. And you still have that solo 7 sitting over there. But each of these pairs comes out of the square root and will be rewritten this way. You still have a square root there. And what's left inside the square root is the 7 that didn't pull out. But what comes outside is the 2 and the 3. Okay, so what this turns into is 6 radical 7. And that is our answer. Now, one point that we really should be very aware of. The reason I'm looking for pairs is because this is a square root. Now, if that had been a cubed root, I would have been looking for triplets. That would be a different problem. But this one was just looking for pairs.